Francisco. I became very interested in folk music, but mainly in folk musicians. Now, San Francisco was really hopping. The Kingston Trio were out of San Francisco, and the Smothers Brothers were out of San Francisco. I started to size up this folk group on stage, and the tenor was just unbelievably talented, and he was very cute. But I knew from the moment I was sitting there watching them that it was not going to be the tenor. It was going to be the tall guitar player. And I could tell he was kind of the leader of the pack. I was like a little groupie. I fell in love with the tall guitar player on stage. John and I were married December 31st, 1962, just about a year and a half after we met.
Michelle and I, we used to sing in the car a lot, So suddenly it occurred to me, well, why doesn't Michelle just sing in the group? And she said no.
And John just told me, well, as we were driving through the Holland Tunnel, that, in fact, as much money as I thought I would make modeling, he thought I would make more money on the road singing. On the simple basis of greed alone, I decided to get into music. We had met Denny Doherty on the Southern Lap of the Hootenanny Tour. He was in a group called the Halifax Three. And he was just a great singer. We heard that the Halifax Three had broken up. So we put out word that we were looking for Denny Doherty. And one day he showed up. And we started to sing that afternoon. And by the end of the evening, we had decided that we would form a group together, the three of us. And then things started to sound differently.
They wanted another voice, another singer. John wanted another voice. And he had heard me singing on the road.
And of course, Denny's voice was what really started to create a sound that we loved.
I met my brother this morning, coming up the hill so soon. You know he's trying to get to heaven in due time, for the heaven door closed.
While we were on the road, Denny was always on the phone to Cass Elliot. We didn't know her, we'd never seen her, and I knew that she was a real big girl who could sing her ass off.
Well, I got a man, and he's long and tall, and he moves his body like a cannonball.
When we were back in New York, after a brief tour, there was a knock at the door. And I answered the door, and there was Cass Elliot standing in the doorway. She was huge. She had her hair in a flip, and she had a pink Angora sweater on, and a white pleated skirt, and lashes. It was just a great vision.
I call your name, but you're not there. Was I to blame for being unfair? Don't you know I can't sleep at night since you've been gone? I never weep at night, I can't go on. Don't you know I can't take it? I don't know who cares. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not that kind of man. Don't you know I can't sleep at night, but just the same, I never weep at night. I call your name, I call your name. I never weep at night, I call your name.
We met Cass a couple of times after that, and then we decided to go to the Virgin Islands and actually camped out on St. John for several months. And I just wanted to have some fun. That's where we really started to develop the sound of the group. After we'd been there for about a month and a half, a very important moment occurred when we saw this dot on the beach get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that dot turned out to be Cass Elliot, who had come to join us, and she had been missing Denny a lot, and she just appeared, and it was wonderful. we started singing for a local club. She wouldn't sing on stage with us because she said that she would never allow an audience to make the obvious distinction between us physically. She would sing her part from the back of the room, tray in hand, and we would sing ours on stage.